We'll now be taking a look at the underground lab. The underground lab is seen in both Outlast and Outlast Whistleblower. In fact, it is the last area of Outlast, while it is the first area of Outlast Whistleblower. And so, as you can probably guess by the name, the underground lab is located underground, with a little bit of it being underneath the administration block, but it also extends out much further than that. In fact, it goes out all the way out in front of and past the front of the administration block and the front courtyard, and basically the starting point to the game. And so it is located underneath all of that, and it keeps going out past that point. And so just to kind of give you a little bit of an overview, this is basically what the underground lab looks like in FreeCam. And so with that out of the way, we can now take a closer look at it. And so we're going to start right here. In fact, this is one of the ways to access the underground lab is through the elevator in the administration block, which is how Miles actually gets to it. And so we are pretty deep underground. In fact, according to the official Outlast comics, the Murkoff account states that the underground lab is located 122 feet below the Mount Massive Asylum surface. And so you come down here and you have just a pretty bare hallway. It's just all cement. And so got some pipes here, got a security camera. But once you go past these double doors, this is kind of, you have this hallway here, and here you can see that the underground lab was inspired by the Snow Lab, which is an underground facility located in Sudbury, Canada. And so this, if you're familiar with that, this should probably remind you quite a bit of that, and the further we go, you'll see more inspiration. In fact, it's even got this rock here, which I'm not really sure what this is supposed to be. This Snow Lab also has this. It just has like this rock that's part of the structure here. I'm just not sure what kind of rock it is. But really the only difference between the Snow Lab and the underground lab, besides the actual layout and stuff like that, is that the Snow Lab is located much deeper. Instead of 122 feet, it's more than 2 kilometers. And so, but there is still a lot of inspiration from that. So the underground lab, the very front of the administration block, and the section that's just off of the female ward, that's in the recreation area, those are the only areas of Mount Massive Asylum that have any type of inspiration. Everything else that Red Barrels did was custom. And so, going past here, sorry, just going down this hallway, it's very barren. You just have some lights hung up from the ceiling, and that's pretty much it. You also do have the Walrider Project logo here, which you also do see in this area. And so right here you have your reception area, so kind of this reception area, a very big desk here, as you can see. Very modern as well, since this was most likely added after Murkoff bought the Asylum in 2009. And so this was for the actual Walrider project, since the purpose of the underground lab is it's basically just a series of rooms, so like offices, laboratories, and also areas for the workers to kind of for the workers. So you have a cafeteria, a shower room. So these are all areas for the workers that are going to be working towards the Walrider project. And so this is also where the Morphogenic engine is located as well. And so this is basically the whole purpose for basically Murkoff purchasing Mount Massive Asylum. And so yeah, back to the reception area. So again, it's pretty barren. There's not a whole lot really going on here. It's just the desk here. There's also this panel with some television screens. So of course you got the Murkoff Corporation, the Walrider Project. Got a little lounge area, and also some pipes here that are for some reason behind this glass panel here. I'm not really sure what's up with that. But yeah, so pillars here with some security cameras. Very interesting ceiling here. It's kind of just a circular shape. So this whole little area here, and it's got also light fixtures as well that kind of just go in a circle here. And this is the area where the security guards are killed. Rather the not security guards. It's like the PMCs. So when you get drugged by Father Martin, and he forces you to watch the security footage in the security room right before you enter the prison block, you're actually watching footage of this area. So it's probably from this camera, since there's really no other cameras. And you can kind of see the airlock in that footage as well. And this whole area just really resembles that. In fact, you can even see the blood trails where the soldiers were dragged by the Walrider. And so yeah, that's pretty much it for this area. So again, you have more rock, but you also do have some of this tile here and just other unnatural walls here that are built instead of just being carved. Instead of just having the natural rock here. And so yeah, anyways, yeah, speaking of which, yeah, we do have the airlock, so the decontamination chambers, which we do see in other areas, like the prison block and the hospital. So there are also a few of these located down here as well. Except they don't really have any windows here. There's no adjacent security room. So yeah, going on down here, so yeah, I can see that this hallway kind of curves here. And I also do have a sign for A block. So just like the prison block, the underground lab is divided into blocks. There were, I believe, 5 blocks, so A to E block. And so A block is at the front here, but the deeper you go, you will see other blocks. And so we just have some pipes here, more lighting, and also I'm guessing that this is supposed to be the ventilation ducts. So again, pretty modern. And so again, kind of gives you, it's a very kind of like sterile looking place. So kind of the underground lab. Part of that is probably because the rocks here look a lot like ice, and so just that and the combination of all these like cool colors, like all these like light blue colors, just kind of give it like a very cold feeling. So I just always found that very interesting. Like this, even though it's a video game, it kind of gives you like an actual feeling, like you feel very cold down here, or maybe that's just me. But I always just kind of got that impression from being down here. So, but yeah, anyways, yeah, so we have more doors here, so this leads deeper into the lab. We'll take a closer look at that later. Right here, I do want to take a look at this room right here. So you do have some rooms that are labeled and that have numbers just like other areas, like the administration block and the hospital. So this is A002. This is Dr. Wernicke's office. So it's kind of split off into 2 rooms here. So you have like this entrance area. This is where Miles steps into, but he can't go past this point because there's a door here and just these glass panels. And so this is the actual office space. So again, very modern and again pretty basic. You just got an L-shaped desk here with a couple of chairs. Lots of bookcases. In fact, they take up this entire wall here. So yeah, a lot of different books and files here. Again, got that Walrider Project logo, and it's also got a light illuminating it. And it's also got this painting here, this very famous painting that I'm sure you've seen before. The name of it is Perfluorocarbon Bound, so something like that, but it's a very famous painting, and it's here in Dr. Wernicke's office. Very large, as you can see. It takes up quite a bit of space. In fact, it's pretty much the first thing you see when you walk into his office. But yeah, more of that rock mixed in with tile, and just got some pillars here, security cameras, light fixtures, ventilation ducts, so pretty self-explanatory other than that. And so yeah, filing cabinets, even got the fire alarm, and a clock here. And so yeah, these are some very interesting doors, since they can only be opened by a button, since you kind of see Wernicke press a button when he opens the doors. So you can't normally open these on your own. And so again, more of these cables here. So yeah, this really gives you an impression of the Snow Lab. Just looks so similar to it. Like I said, the only difference is just how this is arranged. But the actual decoration of the actual space is very reminiscent of the Snow Lab. And so I got signs directing you towards the Morphogenic engine. More security cameras, of course. Very high security kind of place here. And we have some double doors here. And so, yeah, just these metal doors with glass panels. Very much gives me a kind of that laboratory feel. In fact, you have these laboratories over here. And so you have two over here. You have the first of which is a 003. Again, pretty modern. And so it's got all of the, it's got a lot of the same equipment that the hospital had. And so just different cabinets here filled with different types of medication. So yeah, workspaces here. Kind of stuff that you would really find in a laboratory. So yeah, desks here with computers and some kind of solutions. And so yeah, more of these just medications here. So again, just pretty much just your stereotypical lab, pretty much. So yeah, we're still in A block, and we also have a 004. It's very similar, although some of the it's got the same shape and everything, and the same wall and flooring. It's just that this room, some of the equipment is arranged differently. So the counter space and workspace here is on this side instead of over here. And it's also got like this little kind of like operating table. So it's got a sink and everything, and there's also a document on it. So yeah, more security cameras, yep. And so I don't think I really have a whole lot to really say about this. Just got some x-rays here. And some cabinets, that's really all I know. But, you know, it's just a laboratory pretty much. And so yeah, fire extinguishers, yep. And so at this point we're heading towards the delivery exit. And so this is going to be another entrance to the underground lab. And so yeah, this is where Chris Walker is killed. He is shoved through this ventilation duct here by the Walrider. So yeah, heading deeper down into the underground lab, we have this very long hallway here. Again, got more of that rock. And then mixed in with just some kind of this concrete here. And so yeah, more pipes and cables and ventilation ducts. And just all sorts of equipment here. Yeah, liquid nitrogen. And so there's that delivery exit, but before we go into it, I do want to take a look at this other laboratory here. This is J666, so very interesting number they gave it. So they could have gave it something like A005 or something like the other laboratories, but instead they just gave it a completely different letter and also made it all sixes, which is very interesting. So it's just off of the main hallway here. In fact, there's another hallway that separates it with that in the main area. You have these glass doors that are automatic, so once you get close to them, they do open by themselves. And you got some standard doors here leading into the laboratory. And again, it's basically like the same shape and size as the other ones. The only difference is some of the equipment is a little different here. Here it's got these devices called air blow. I'm not really sure what these are supposed to be, but there's some type of like storage areas. So for containing some type of possibly medication or solutions or stuff like that that require cold temperatures. Since you can see this one is set at -40, I'm not sure what kind of temperature. I'm not sure if that's Celsius or Fahrenheit, but whichever one it is, it's pretty cold, very, very cold. And here we have the Morphogenic engine formula. So this, if you film this with your camcorder, you get a note. And so just more of these kind of storage areas containing all kinds of different medication and pills, and more liquid nitrogen tanks on these little carts. And so yeah, you also have an Easter egg down here. If you look closely, it says that this is not a red barrel. For some reason, mine is very, very blurry, but trust me, that's what it says. And so that's, of course, a reference to Red Barrels, the developer of Outlast and Outlast Whistleblower. And so from here, you have more of these automatic doors, and this leads you towards a staircase. So the underground lab does have a few levels to it, just like the sewer. And so this is one of these staircases here. So there are other staircases, but this is one of them, which, as you can see, has been knocked down. And so yeah, this is directing you towards the delivery exit. And so this whole area just kind of wraps around. And so this is the closest that Miles came to basically freedom. Is all he had to do was enter this area, this kind of like hangar area. So it's kind of like a just a big storage area. In fact, it's big enough to accommodate some of the PMC's vans as well. So these trucks. It's a very large space. As you can see, that's kind of two levels to it. It has this catwalk. Actually, two catwalks. There's one on each side. One of them has a staircase. The other one doesn't, so I'm not really sure how you're supposed to get up here normally. And it also does have this glass panel looking into the main area. So I'm unsure if this is meant to open. I'm not really sure if this is just like a window, or if this whole assembly can like be moved. So I'm not really sure. But in any case, this is the one entrance to it. And so past this point, yeah, you just have these doors here, these very large doors. And this is now the exterior. So you're now outside. Although this is a little bit weird because this is the ground, but then this is also the ground. And you can see that this is significantly deeper than that. So I'm not really sure how this would work. The only explanation there is that this would be like a cavern, which also really wouldn't make sense since this is just supposed to be like rocks. So I'm not really sure, but it does have this road leading it to it, as you can see, which isn't too far off from the road that Miles uses to head to the asylum. So you can see his Jeep is here, and this is the road that leads to the actual property. And so that's going to be it for that area. So heading back to the actual underground lab. At this point, really, we can head down back to this area, kind of backtrack. And so we have B block here. So this is why the labels change. It's not A anymore, it's now B because we are now in B block. And so we have B001, and this is kind of a shower area. So you got these very large shower stalls, which are a lot like the ones we saw on the 3rd floor of the administration block, at the front of the administration block, right next, very close to the cafeteria and those areas. And so there's 6 shower stalls in total. You got some lockers on both sides here, and you also do have some sinks and hand dryers. And so yeah, very tall ceilings in here as well. In fact, the ceiling and the 2 walls are just a rock here, and then more tile, and then just like these metal kind of like panels here. I think that's supposed to be metal or some kind of just concrete. And on the other side is a cafeteria, and so yeah, we are in level basement 1. And so yeah, cafeteria here, very convenient place for a cafeteria since a lot of the workers that are down here, you know, they're going to be working down here, and they don't have to go all the way up to the administration block or any other area for a meal. They can just go here on break. And so yeah, very large cafeteria, again, very tall ceilings in here, and it even has its own pantry area. It's a pretty standard pantry area, lots of shelves here, like canned goods. Got a little prepping area with a rack for pots and pans here. Got a refrigerator. And then this little area that's adjacent to it, that's for serving food. There's also vending machines and a separate kitchen area. So you can just make a meal by yourself. You can just microwave something, or just put something in the refrigerator for later. And of course also a sink. And yeah, so just to kind of give you an idea of where we are. And so yeah, I think that's going to be it for the cafeteria. Again, I don't really have a whole lot to really say about it. Most of it, other than that, is pretty self-explanatory, I feel. And so right across from it is a restroom. So pretty basic restroom. It's a lot like the ones we saw above ground. So 3 stalls with toilets and 2 sinks. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, it's very basic, just tile walls, and then concrete for the ceiling. And also just a very bare flooring here. And so heading even deeper into the underground lab, we have another laboratory. So we have B004. Again, very similar size. Also, yeah, looks a lot like the other laboratories, except, yeah, different equipment, except this one is actually pretty similar to J666. So it's got the kind of these the air blow storage units. Yeah, just a lot of storage pretty much. Yeah, emergency lights, and then a ventilation duct. I think this is, oh no, that's the other one. So yeah, there's one of the ventilation ducts you can actually climb into and use as a hiding spot from the wall rider. And so yeah, we're making our way towards the morphogenic engine, and of course the chambers themselves, so that are located inside the room that contains the morphogenic engine. So yeah, still in B block, and so kind of a little poster here. Yeah, safety measures. And so another laboratory, B006. Again, it's a lot like what we saw before, same size, and also a lot of the same equipment, except this one has a microscope from the looks of it. So kind of this, I think it's like an electronic microscope. Since it displays, it's got this computer here, what looks to be almost like cells in the human body. And so, so yeah, nanobiotechnology, since Murkoff was working a lot with nanobots and nanotechnology. And so yeah, more workspaces here, got more medication, got some files, and just more workspaces, and more storage units, filing cabinets. And you also have this, some more ventilation ducts here. And now, at this point, you have this area that's closed off. But this is located very close in proximity to this area here, which is the starting point of Outlast Whistleblower. And so it's unknown how exactly this is supposed to connect. I always assumed that there would be like a staircase here, much like the one we saw over here. But as you can see, this area is very, very small, so you can't really fit a staircase in here. So I'm curious as to how this would work. The only explanation I really have is that the staircase would be like shifted, so it would be like here instead of like that. So the staircase would be right over here, or maybe even over here, and then you reach the top of this that way. So I'm not really sure, but I'm assuming that there would be a connection here. It would just be a lot more convenient. And so yeah, we have another restroom. Yeah, it's basically just identical to the other one, except the only difference is it has one sink instead of two. But I mean, it's got 3 stalls with 3 toilets, and it looks a lot like the other restroom. And so from this point, yeah, we have the perfluorocarbon oxidation area here. So still on level basement 1. And so kind of got this little entrance area. Again, pretty barren. Just got a security camera. And some more of these wires here. But yeah, this is all part of the, all while you're getting chased by the wall rider. So eventually you make your way up these stairs, these catwalks, and you lose the wall rider by going through this airlock. But usually you don't get a really good look at this space since you're getting chased. So I figured we would take a little better look at it here. So even though there's not too much going on in here, again, kind of got a little workspace here. Some kind of equipment here. I'm not really sure what that's for. Also got some of these tanks here. I'm guessing that's for the perfluorocarbon oxidation. And so, but yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, so there's not really a whole lot going on in here. anyway. Although here you usually never do go back here. You do have another kind of workstation here. So with 3 computer monitors, and yeah, there's also 2 batteries. So you kind of know that this is an area that hardly anyone really goes into, because again, you're getting chased. And so it's pretty much going to be it for that. So yeah, kind of the 2 floors to this. So it's kind of raised, which makes sense because once you go through here, you're on the 2nd floor. Since, as you can see, this is where it connects to the staircase here that we saw earlier. And so yeah, now we're now on the other side of that. And we've also reached C block, which it also makes sense since this room is C001. And so past this point, after going through another corridor here, this should start to look pretty familiar. Yeah, especially if you have played Whistleblower. This is the very start point, the starting point of Outlast Whistleblower. So Wayland sends the email in this room, and he goes towards the Morphogenic engine. And of course, this is also the very end of Outlast, the base game. And so yeah, this is a little bit weird because both areas are loaded in, so both Outlast and Outlast Whistleblower are loaded in. So you have this going on. So you have it before and after the slaughter, which is pretty interesting. So that's why this is all kind of glitched out. And so yeah, this is still part of C block. This is kind of like another sort of like reception area. So kind of like a security kind of office, I guess, is a better way of describing it. So yeah, restricted area, authorized personnel only. So yeah, this is now really for like only people that have the proper clearance to actually go here. And so yeah, more of those automatic glass doors. You have these pretty fancy panels here. But this kind of leads to the server area, so there's like server rooms in here. And I'm guessing that all 4 of these would be server rooms. So you can see that behind 2 of the doors, there's not even anything behind them, but behind one of them, there actually is a room here. There's just nothing in here. But in this server room, of course, this is where Wayland sends the email, which Miles Upshur receives. And that's how Miles, and that's why Miles decides to head to Mount Massive Asylum, which is the whole purpose of Outlast. And so yeah, there's not really a whole lot going on in here, just a lot of computer equipment. Got a little workstation. And yeah, just some shelves here. And again, this is right on the other side of this area. And this is also the reason why you have this whole area here. So you can see that this is part of the hospital. But it's down here. And the reason that this is down here is because this is technically a different portion of the game. So this is the very beginning of Outlast Whistleblower. So you start the game up, and Wayland is getting put into the chair. And then, of course, after that, you have the 2 hours earlier scene, and then you're now here, which is very close to this area. And then after you go through this area, and you get knocked out, then you spawn in the hospital. As to why they had it like this, why they couldn't just had this in the hospital, I'm not really sure why, but I guess they just felt a need to. So just to kind of program this into the game. So I'm not really sure why there's 2 separate areas for what's basically supposed to be occurring in this very same spot. But yeah, that's gonna be pretty much it for that area. And so past this point, yeah, we can now head to the Morphogenic engine. But before we do, yeah, so you have this hallway here that kind of curves. And of course, this is the area in which Miles is killed. So these doors open. Wernicke is standing there with some Murkoff PMCs. And this is where Miles is gunned down and killed. And so that is the end of Outlast. But of course, like I said, this area is also seen in Outlast Whistleblower. And so you kind of have this room here. Again, very large room, and it's got a whole lot of equipment in here. So all kinds of equipment for monitoring. Just like the actual patient that's in the Morphogenic engine. So yeah, a lot of computers. And so yeah, it shows all kinds of, yeah, the vital signs and the backup systems, showing the status of them. Of course, Wayland is tasked with fixing one of the cameras, one of the monitoring equipment for the Morphogenic engine, when Billy Hope is placed into it. And so yeah, this whole area looks at the looks into the Morphogenic engine itself. So kind of the chamber here, and I think when it says chamber, it's referring to these pods here. So there's 6 pods in total. And of course, Billy Hope is placed into one of them, as well as Eddie Gluskin. And so there's also a failsafe system as well, which we actually are going to take a look at next. So there's a life support fluid reservoir, and there's also like the generator, and so that's for the backup for the Morphogenic engine. Of course, when you disable those and as well as the failsafe, that leads to the death of Billy. And so yeah, here's the Morphogenic engine itself. Yeah, a ton of wires here, basically hooked up to all of the pods. Yeah, very large space here. And right behind it, you have another one of these glass panels here, so which kind of leads me to assume that this can be opened. Since you have this whole area back here, this right here is just kind of a, this contains cells. So the patients, when they're ready to be placed into the engine, they would stay here right before. So they would probably be moved from like the male ward or the prison block, wherever they're staying, and be brought down here as just like a temporary place. And so there's 12 cells in total, and they're very bare. Yeah, just bare concrete, and all they really get is just a toilet. So which really leads me to assume that this is just temporary. So there's not even like a bed or anything. And past this point, yeah, it's unknown where this goes to. So it can be assumed that just like the sewer, there would be a lot more to the underground lab than what we can see, but it's just not modeled. Same for this location right above it. You can see that there is a second floor to this. You have this hallway here with a window that overlooks the main area, but there's not much to it since the hallway terminates on both ends. And then you have another set of double doors, which also doesn't go anywhere, and there's also a floating toilet. And so yeah, at this point you can see that we are way past the actual boundary of the Asylum now. So we're even past the actual starting point. And so yeah, from here we can go to, yeah, like I said, the life support fluid reservoir. It can be accessed by using this hallway here. So it kind of curves here. then it leads into this room here. Yeah, very large space, kind of reminiscent of C001. So again, more kind of these tanks here, so it's yeah, some kind of life support fluid, which Miles does drain using this valve here. So it's located right above it. You can use these catwalks to access it. You also have some stairs at the one end. And you also have this room, which I'm guessing is just like another kind of monitoring space. So again, just all sorts of computers and equipment here. So it's right behind these all these glass panels. So again, very modern. And so, yeah, just a lot more of what we've seen a lot throughout. So it's got like some rock here mixed in with some other materials. So it's a lot like what we saw before. And we are also now in D block. So again, like I said, the deeper you go, the more you'll see other blocks. And on the other side, kind of across from it, is the sublab generator. And so you use the staircase to go up to this upper floor here. So you have double doors. And so, kind of got a curved hallway here. And this leads into the sublab generator room. And this is now part of E block. And so you will see that this room is pretty large. It's very tall as well, so it kind of gives it its size. It's several stories tall at least. And you just have this staircase here that just keeps going up and up. And at the top you do have a catwalk here that's, for some reason, kind of, it's been moved down. So the panels are facing down, so you can't cross this. You have to jump across it. And from here, yeah, we have a hallway that kind of curves here. We have another airlock and another staircase. And again, you kind of have another kind of monitoring space here, some more computers and some more computer equipment. And you also have this electrical panel here, which Miles does end up pulling some wires out, and that ends up disabling the generator. And so it's also got this here. It almost looks like this can be opened, since it's got like those black and yellow strips. So perhaps there's another entrance here, but this cannot really be confirmed. Although it would kind of make sense since this area does stick up above ground. So kind of one of the few areas, in fact the only area of the underground lab that's actually located above ground. So this whole kind of area here. And so yeah, this generator actually does overlook this other catwalk we saw. And so with that, that is actually going to conclude the underground lab. Now before we do wrap up the entire series as a whole, since that is everything for Mount Massive Asylum, there is this area here that you may have seen before. This is the very end of Outlast Whistleblower, so this is where Waylon ends up uploading his footage, and so it takes place right here. It's actually located underneath one of the cesspools in the sewer, and so it's in this room that's very dark, but it's a very basic room with hardwood flooring. And then in this room, it's also pretty bare. The only thing it's really got going for it is it has this window here. And it's very bright in here as well. So when you're standing here, you can kind of see the light shining through the door. Now, of course, this wouldn't normally be located right below the sewer. This is just where Red Barrels decide to put this area in the game. But anyways, yeah, that is going to be it. Not just for the underground lab, but for my look at Mount Massive Asylum. And so we have reviewed all of the areas in both Outlast and Outlast Whistleblower, meaning that this is going to conclude this tour of Mount Massive Asylum, my look at it at least. So I do hope that you, at the very least, found it entertaining, and that you learned something new while you're here. And so yeah, with that, I really have nothing else to add on at this moment. And so I will see you in the next video as always. So until then, bye for now, everyone.